Still think Trent is a world-class centre mid. Even Bellingham praised him. Bellingham has to praise him. He has to praise everyone on that pitch to try and drive us on because he knows how poor England were as a whole. He's a captain, Bellingham. He's not going to criticise players. He's a captain. He's got to say everyone played well and everyone's got a job to do and etc. He's more of a captain than Kane was or is. Certainly. But he's not a world-class centre mid, mate. If you've just watched the France game there, Kante is the prime example of a world-class central midfielder. That is a world-class central midfielder. Camavinga, quality when he came on. Breaking up play. I mean, even Rabiot tracking back, getting interceptions. You got Kante and Rabiot in that midfield in the first half, and he's tracking back, getting interceptions, but he's also breaking forward and playing balls into Mbappe and to Dembele to Griezmann. Kante is quality, man. He's absolute. I thought him being out in Saudi, he might have lost his sharpness because Brozovic has been out in Saudi. He's lost his sharpness. Mitrovic, I thought, looked sluggish. Obviously, he's been out in Saudi. I think a few of the other players we've probably seen, maybe he's been out in the Saudi league, and like Carrasco. I thought Carrasco was terrible, but Kante's lost none of his sharpness. He was absolutely superb. Mate, I'm not even bothered about the mistake. I'm not even bothered about the mistake where Mitrovic got the shot away. It was a bad mistake, but so the problem you've got there. The ball's played into him. Typically, as a central midfielder, as a normal central midfielder, you know someone's going to be coming behind you because that's literally there's players around you constantly in central midfield. Whereas Trent's not used to having someone behind him because he plays in the right back position typically, and probably spent most of his career and youth as a right back. So there's nobody behind him, so he's not typically used to someone closing him down that fast. So I think he panicked a little bit, miscontrolled it. Fine, right? I'm not too bothered about that. The rest of his game was not good enough to be a central midfielder. That's my biggest bugbear with it. People saying he's a central midfielder. He's literally the worst central midfielder in the squad. That's because he's not a central midfielder. Wharton is a central midfielder. Kobe Mainoo is a central midfielder. Rice is a central midfielder. Even Gallagher. I think Gallagher's shite, but he's a better central midfielder than Trent. Trent offered nothing, and I'll show you the stats. We were looking at the stats with Shane earlier. So we'll look at, I tell you what, let's have a look at discipline first, because I'm not bothered about the shots, because that's not really his game. But if we look at these stats here, so this is the full game, not the first half, not the second half. This is the full game. We've selected Trent here. There's 3 bits that's been called out on these stats, where you've got an unsuccessful dribble in the 66th minute from Trent, an unsuccessful dribble in the 29th minute from Trent, and an unsuccessful dribble in the 51st minute from Trent. Nothing else. There's no successful dribbles. There's just 3 unsuccessful dribbles. So as a centre mid, you expect players to be doing some dribbling, some success, some not success. But okay, that's fine. Let's have a look at his defensive work. So as a defender, as a central midfielder, bearing in mind this guy's coming from a right back position, so he should know how to defend. Obviously, he doesn't. He's intercepted a ball in the 19th minute. He's intercepted a ball in the 25th minute. I think that was when he played it through to Saka, and then Saka played in Walker where we should have scored. So that in the first 25 minutes, England were dominant. In the second half, he's done a recovery in the first 4 minutes of the second half. He's cleared it from inside the box in the 65th minute, and he's lost a tackle in the 51st minute. That's all he's done in 70 minutes of being on the pitch. On 70 minutes of being on the pitch, that's all he's done from a defensive perspective. And as a central midfielder, you need to be doing more. From the 25th minute onwards, Serbia dominated the game. England as a whole was shite from the 25th minute onwards. So that means that if Serbia are more dominant in the game, you need to be intercepting the ball more. You need to be getting the tackles in more. And he's not done it. And then we have a look at his distribution, which is obviously his key attribute. And that's why he's in there. And what I'm concerned about here with these stats here is there's a lot of sideways passes. So there's a pass here. There's lots of sideways passes. He's passed it out to the left-hand side, which was obviously out to Foden. And obviously the green ones are successful passes. But they're very, very sideways. He plays one pass forward, ranging pass forward there on the 22nd minute. He plays one longish ball, I guess, on the 29th minute. I'm assuming that was Saka. And he plays one long ranging pass on the 56th minute out to the left-hand side. Again, I'm assuming that was Foden, that was two. But there's lots of sideways passing. And what my main concern here is his main attribute is his passing, like long-range passing across field. Cross-field pass, 36 minutes, goes out of play. 58th minute, long-range pass to nobody. Long-range pass on 16th minute. Long-range pass, 67th minute. All red, all bad. A lot of his long-range passing didn't get to the desired target. And if he's not in there to tackle, and if he's not in there to sort of get the interceptions, etc., if he's not doing his long-range passing that he's renowned for through Liverpool, then what's he there for? Because anybody who's a central midfielder can do sideways passes. Anybody. And that's all he offered. Sideways passes. As a central midfielder at international level, you need to be doing more. I think Wharton's the best centre midfielder we've got, aside Rice. Rice was superb. Ryan was saying Trent was better than Rice. There's no chance. Absolutely no chance. But Wharton can do sideways passes. He can do forward passes. He can do backwards passes. There's nothing more Trent offered that says he should be our centre midfielder. It's as simple as that. And that's my big bugbears. People saying Trent should be our central midfielder. He's not. He's not good enough. He's simply not good enough. Because if his main attribute of long-range passes are going out of play or to nobody and being intercepted by the big centre-backs, then what's the point of having him on the pitch? It's not that I don't think Trent's a good player when he's on the ball, but as a central midfielder, you have to be good on the ball as you are off the ball. That's the whole point of being a central midfielder. You do both jobs, and he's not good enough defensively. And unfortunately for him yesterday, he wasn't good enough going forward. You can see those long range passes just weren't hitting the targets often enough. And I know you're not going to get an 100% pass rate, but you have a look at that there. There's a lot of sideways passes. There's very, very few passes. I would argue, I don't know specifically, but I would argue this pass here on the 29th minute, going directly forward, is a good pass. I would argue this getting in the box and cutting it back inside is probably a good pass. I would argue this pass as well, going forward, and this pass here. And probably this pass here from the centre-back position, which, I mean, he's obviously clearly dropped deep, hasn't he, to try and spray those balls. But a lot of the other passes are sideways. And for as many he's done good passes forward, he's also had about the same bad passes forward as well, long-range passes. In his first game at centre mid, he put in a man-of-the-match performance. In the second game, he played well, scored a class goal. In his third game, England, he's not a midfielder though, Cody. We're putting square pegs in round holes, man. It's yeah, of course, yeah. But if you can't tell me that you think Trent is on par with Bellingham, like, look at that. Look at the range of the look at the where he was on the pitch constantly. He's just everywhere. He's played a bad ball there, but he's at the byline. He's trying to obviously cross that in. He's played a bad ball there. He's played a bad ball there, and he's played a bad ball backwards, I guess, there. 4 bad passes compared to the amount of balls every which way. Forwards, backwards, sideways, every which way. We look at his defensive qualities. Can we turn off? There we go. Look at his defensive qualities. He's done more interceptions than Trent did all game. Let's see. Put them up side by side. 1, 2. There's a clearance there, a recovery there, and 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions all game from the central midfielder. Whereas the Cam, you got a recovery there, you got a recovery there, you got a recovery there, you got an interception there, you got a clearance there, you got another clearance there. He's lost 1 tackle there, and he's won 2 tackles there. There's no tackles that Trent's won. Clearly, there's no tackles that he's won. So why is he not tackling anyone? Why the f*** is a central midfielder not tackling anyone in 70 minutes? 70 minutes he's been on the fucking pitch. Why has he not tackled anybody? Even if he would have lost the tackle, why has he not tackled anyone? What's this one? Is this tackle? Oh yeah, sorry. He's tackled 1 person and he's lost it. He lost the tackle. In 70 minutes, he's done 1 tackle and he lost it. Are you fucking for real? It just baffles me why people think Trent's the man for the central midfield position. I would not have him near central midfield. I would play him as a right wing back with a 5 back. If I was to play Trent, I would play Walker as a right centre back. I would play Stones as the central centre back, and I would play Gahey as the left centre back, and I would play Shaw as left wing back, and I'll play Trent as the right wing back, and giving him a little bit more freedom because you've got the pace of Walker behind to cover. That's when I would play. That's personally where I would play Trent, because he doesn't have to worry about anyone behind him because there's very few people behind him, and if there is someone behind him, it's only going to be Walker probably doing an overlap. That's the only place I would play him, as if we're playing wing back formations. He needs to, for me, and it's not his fault that he's been played as a central midfielder. It's Gareth Southgate's fault. Yeah. I mean, if you get called up for England and you're getting told that you're going to play in centre midfield, dream come true. But you've also got, at that same time, you've got to say, do you know what? I'm not a central midfielder. I trust him in the kind of role that Frimpong plays at Leverkusen. Yeah, right wing back. Yeah, a right wing back. Let him have a little bit of freedom up and down that right hand side. Saka loves to cut inside, so maybe Trent as the overlap, or spraying the balls from that right wing back position. Fine, but not at central midfield. I'm not saying he's not good on the ball. It is off the ball that concerns me. And if you're not good off the ball and you're not tackling people, then you're not a central midfielder. That's my big bugbear. People think I've got an agenda against Trent. I haven't. I've got an agenda to play the right players in the right positions at the right time. But for me, Trent has to play only in a right back or right wing back position. That's it. That is it. Really, really suffer with that tomorrow. But do you understand, when we're looking at the stats there, Cody, do you understand where I'm coming from a centre midfield perspective? He's put in there and he's just not doing enough. He's not doing enough in central midfield to say he should have that spot as his own. For me, what he did, I think Wharton can do quite comfortably and better. Because Wharton is a central midfielder. It's Southgate's fault he's getting played. But for me personally, I would play Rice alongside Bellingham. I would play them two as the main centre mids. I'll play Foden as a cam. I wouldn't have him out on the left because he loves cutting inside. So I would play him where he played for City all fucking season long. I'd play him as a cam. I would play Gordon out on the left because he's going to hug that. He's going to hug that wing constantly. He's not going to cut inside. All he's going to do is he's going to hug that wing and he's going to take it to the byline constantly. I don't know what I think about Trent. I think he has the ability to play there. Maybe I thought he did better than he did. I mean, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm just obviously venting one side of it, and yourself and Ryan and quite a few other. I'll be honest, in the comments, a lot of Liverpool fans and very few others are saying he had a good game. When you look at it from a stats perspective, it wasn't good enough. I'm not saying Bellingham play CDM. I'm saying Rice is CDM, Bellingham is centre mid, but a box to box one. Like he pretty much did that all game anyway. And Foden is the cam. I would probably play Bowen or Palmer on the right hand side. I think Palmer deserves a chance. I don't think Saka had a great game. I would play Gordon on the left. Got to play Kane up front, although I thought he was absolutely shocking last night. And don't get me wrong, Trent wasn't the worst on the pitch. Foden and Kane was shocking, absolutely shocking last night. I didn't think Walker had a particularly good game at right back, to be fair. Stones, I thought in the first half wasn't great. Second half was better, but that's because we were under a lot more pressure in the second half. I thought Gahey was arguably one of the better players, could have been potentially in for a man of the match performance. Pickford, I thought, actually did all right. Obviously, he had the one save. Didn't need to do a great deal else, but his passing from the back from the was really good. I thought Pickford last night. You thought Saka was class, really. He didn't. For me, he didn't take on the defender enough as a winger. He kept wanting to cut inside. It made us too narrow because Foden's cutting inside from the left-hand side. Because Saka's cutting inside from the right-hand side. It made us too narrow, too congested. I kept saying last night, Saka needs to take on the defender, show up the pace, take it to the byline. He took it to the byline, I think, 2 or 3 times, and that was it. The entire game he was on. And Saka, one of the times that he took it to the byline, he's crossed it in and we scored the goal. So why are we... And then he goes off the pitch for Bowen coming on. Bowen takes it to the byline, crosses it in, and Kane gets the header. He should have scored. It should have been 2-0. Get it to the fucking byline and cross it in. Stop cutting inside. Give us that width. Give us that width. If you give us that width, it means that players like Bellingham and Foden will have more space in the pitch because the fullbacks are going wide. No, there's a massive loving with Saka, and I don't know why. I don't get the hype. I genuinely don't get the hype. I think Bowen's a more complete footballer. I think Palmer, the season he's had for Chelsea, man, I think he deserves his chance on the right hand side cutting in. But the reason you're going to have him cutting in is if you're having someone on the overlap. So maybe Trent or maybe Walker doing the overlap job. With Palmer cutting inside and actually finding a lot more passes. I think Palmer's a better technically gifted footballer than Saka. I think Saka is... if he didn't have his pace, then I don't think he'd be anywhere near the squad. But you could say that about a lot of professional footballers. Walker. If Walker wasn't as fast as he was and still at the age of 34, he's still absolutely rapid, he would be no more than a League 2 player because... positionally, he's not good. His passing's not great. It's all about his pace. That's it. That's literally that's it. And we could say the same about tonight with Dembele. Dembele was shocking for France. Again, another one that's just wholly reliant on his pace. And there's your video. But that massive rant.